Well, I bet you have a bunch of these. Remember these little guys? I got a pile of them from years back. Slides, film slides. There's a few I've been working on, labeled and pulled out the best things from back in the 70s. Right now, most of this stuff is when I shot a rangefinder camera, a Kodak Signet, and I would carry 3 rolls of film for 2 weeks in the high Sierras backpacking. But I need to get these digitized, and I don't have a scanner, so what I'm going to do is a do-it-yourself way to scan these in using my digital camera. So it's going to be pretty simple, and you don't need much, pretty inexpensive to do. So I've got a laptop here. There's one of the slides scanned in. You still have the edges, and the gray is the actual white paper there because the way it's shot, the white's turning gray. And I've got that tethered here. And that goes over here to a 5D Mark III. It's plugged in. And there is my setup. Let me back up here so you can see the overall thing. The foam board's sticking out a little far from the rack. This is a regular storage rack here in our small studio space. And what I've done, zoom in here, and I probably should use black gaffer's tape, but it really doesn't affect things. I've cut a little hole in the foam board about, quarter inch bigger than the film itself, but still allow the sides of the slide to fit in there. I've taken a couple of pieces of foam. This is some of the cut foam here, black or white, doesn't matter, and I use some gaffer tape, and I put one on here and one here that paralleled the slide to this edge here and made it sit just perfectly inside of the space. And I have a little piece of tape that I can quickly hold the corner down with. But now I just need a light source to get this illuminated. So I went around here this side in the rack. I've got a regular LED bulb. This is a good size one. See the size of my hand in there. And if I flip this on, you see the light gets on there pretty bright. And if you just had that little beam shooting up there, you get vignetting. Or if you get this thing too close to there, look at that. Start to get a spot, right? But the more I pull it back, get this laying down here, more it diffuses out. Well, it's kind of hard to see here in this case here, but you can see it's not quite the same. There it is, much bigger, but it's really diffused out. I just got it propped up with a piece of tape here. This is a piece of 1/4 inch diffusion plastic, and I didn't want to cut it, so I just tipped it down. I would like something vertical in here, and maybe one of these days I'll maybe make this a more formal setup and do something with that, cut it. But now, let's go around the other side. You see we've got light coming through the hole, so let me grab this slide. And I've oriented it sideways. It doesn't matter really which direction that goes up or down, because you can rotate it in digital later. But if I push that all the way in here, into the lower left corner, I take this piece of tape and I stick it down like that. Now you can see that that slide is illuminated in there. And the camera can see it. Let's see if my camera, if I turn it on here and go to live view and see if we get, it's talking to the computer over there. I'm going to pull the plug here for a moment. Excuse me, got my finger over the lens here on the iPhone. So I've pulled out this so I can put, work the camera over here and set settings. Let's see, there's live view. See if we can see it. You can see it in there. Let's turn my info panels off here, and we can now focus on that scene, and I can actually, through the viewfinder, take a meter reading and make adjustments with my exposure compensation in there. I'm shooting in full manual, so I'm going to go out of live view, and I'm going to go back here. Right now I'm at f/22. This is a 100mm macro lens. Come here, focus there. You can see that. 100mm macro lens, and that went off. And I'm at f/22 because macro depth of field is not much. Those slides are a little warped. Got about 8 seconds going on right now, but when I partially hold my shutter button down, I get some metering inside the viewfinder in there, and I can then go ahead and set that to 0 or plus a little bit or minus a little. Each slide's going to be a little different, but I check the focus very, very carefully, and then I'm using a cable release, as you can see right here, that's hanging over the top, so I don't have to go looking for it. And I just press this and take a shot. And with it tethered, with this plugged in, then it would come up over here on the laptop, just like this slide has here. Now they're digitized, and I can crop that down. I've been cropping them and leaving about a 1/4 inch all the way around there, and leaving that border. There's a lot of dust and stuff. A lot of the look that we have in the software, like Analog Pro for Nick software, has these looks in it. And if I go through these images and start going through them, they have a certain look. Let's see if that, yeah, these maybe aren't the most representative, but you get a certain look to all this stuff here. And it's just the same as the Analog Pro. If I jump through all this stuff back, there's some of it, kind of that look that we apply, the old time filmy look. So hey, I got film, it's doing that. So this is a do-it-yourself way to scan your slides. Get a piece of foam board, cut a hole, tape it to something. The light doesn't bleed to the other side here, just comes through to the camera. A meter, I focus. It's nice to have it come up on a laptop, but you don't have to do that. You could just look at them in the back here and start digitizing your slides. So I hope this helps you out. Finding a real inexpensive way to get that stuff salvaged before it goes bad. That's my main worry with it. It's going to get wet in storage or just go bad. The film was going to die. This stuff doesn't last forever. Nothing does, but now I've got some of my favorite stuff in the camera and now on my Mac, and I can start editing, take the dust out, make some adjustments, and start sharing them with friends.